Hey Sainers, welcome to episode 12 of the Saints Nation podcast. I'm joined here, of course, by Bearman Cooper, and we're in for a pretty interesting episode this week. We'll have our round 15 review, of course. We'll obviously go over Alex Taru, the Flying Viking, his debut game.
Yeah, looked pretty good.
Paddy Dow returned in the VFL. That was pretty good.
Yeah.
We'll preview the Freo game.
But most importantly,
the interview with Carl Delina, CEO of the St Kilda Football Club. We are happy to announce that will be dropping on Thursday for you guys. Got some good insight from him as to what the club's planning for the future. And should be pretty interesting. What do you think of the footy this week, boys?
You can go first, Cooper.
I missed the first half.
Okay, so then I'll start. You can finish off with the second half.
I'll finish off.
I didn't mind it. I actually thought we were pretty good. 3.5 quarters, really good performance. Got within 10 points.
Yeah.
14 minutes left in the fourth quarter and had our chances, most definitely. I think comparing to last week, so much better. So much better.
Yeah, 100%. Like, we definitely fell away late, but not much more to expect when we're running with a team that young.
As I've said, it was a benchmark game.
Yeah.
I feel like we played really well for the first 3.5 quarters, and we obviously just fell away, but
Definitely.
I like to hunt and to compete more than anything else this week, especially with the young guns. And I think Tyree played quite a good game for us first up.
Yeah, it was really interesting to see him on my check. I thought, well, we all thought it was a pretty clear memory option.
Yep.
But clearly nah.
Yeah. But anyways, probably the biggest talking point from last week's game was nothing to do with the actual game itself. It was probably the Marcus Windhager tag. What did we think of that one, boys?
That's blown out of proportion. I think
Completely blown out.
Yeah. I think everybody agrees in the AFL world besides Collingwood Nuffies. But look, I think he did all right. Like, it's a hard player to tag, obviously.
Look, nothing he did was illegal. It might be frowned upon, but I know David King straight after the game was like, tags shouldn't exist. Tags should be banned.
That's a case of not actually watching the game properly.
Again, at the same time, he consistently says if a player has 38 touches afterwards, why didn't they tag him?
Exactly.
And it's just so confusing. Like, Nick Dayos was not that good. I'm sorry. He did not.
Would he get a 3 votes?
He got no. Darcy Cameron will.
Yeah,
Nick Dayos turned the ball over a lot, especially going inside forward 50.
Yep.
I thought he was playing for a few free kicks. I thought took away from his game.
First 10 seconds of
I
the game.
thought aside from his goal, it was a pretty split contest between him and Windy. I don't think Dayos was close to his best.
How did that goal go in, by the way?
Ridiculous. Just insane player.
That's almost the loudest I've ever heard in the crowd at the football, by the way. Like, that was so loud.
Like, people always say it's so much better atmosphere at MCG, but in Marvel, if you get everyone screaming, it's closed, so it just reverberates. It is different. It's very different.
Me and Cooper next to a bunch of Collingwood Nuffies, it wasn't fun.
Especially to your right.
Especially to my right.
There was this bloke on our left that was just going non-stop at Windhager, and I'm like, mate, he doesn't owe you anything.
I hate people that do that. They don't know you.
Just quickly, like, I don't know who was sitting behind me. They were definitely Collingwood supporters.
Oh, yes.
They did not talk one thing about the football.
What?
They've just gone to the football just to talk a bunch of rubbish.
Oh, my God.
Like, that does my head in.
That's what you get sometimes, I think.
Mate.
Mm-hmm.
Can't wait to go back to my corporate seats soon.
Okay.
Just
quick flex. Why don't you?
I think it's a very look into the future for the St Kilda too, because that's a big crowd. It was a big game, as you said. It was one of the loudest crowds you've been part of, and I feel like in a few years that's what we should be looking at.
Hopefully, when we've got some great young talent, some great father-son prospects, hopefully dominating games for us.
8 years, 10 years, they come through.
But what else did we like about the game on the weekend, boys? I thought Mason Wood was pretty good.
Yes, as we touched on, Tyree played, I think, very well. He went forward at the end. He got a bit mad at the end too, but I feel like he played a pretty complete game. I'd be shocked if you ever see him in the twos anytime soon, at least. Players
like him, so I'd basically go to every player under 22 that played on the weekend, just be like, look, you're guaranteed a spot every week, pretty much, unless you do something real stupid.
Yeah.
Don't worry about your form, pretty much. Just you're going to get picked every week.
Yeah.
Just focus on developing your game. I think that's what we need to tell these players.
I think Windhager, especially him, his amount of abuse he's definitely copped over the internet and by Nuffy supporters, as we said before. He's a lock in his side for, I reckon, years to come now.
Yeah.
Just to what he's doing now and what he can do when he finally unbreaks a tag, as like a Steele did in 2019.
Yeah.
So hopefully we can see that type of breakout for him in coming years. If he keeps playing his role now, it's going to be really good.
Hopefully. And what do you think, Ben? Anything else good happen?
I was talking about Hannah Clark a lot, and I
He
thought
looked good.
he had a couple errors by hand, but I thought when our midfield's all slow players, when it's Windy, it's Steele, it's McCrae, and we don't have that speedy midfielder on our list at the moment, I feel like he is a really good point of difference.
Yeah.
He's really composed with the ball in hand. He can break a tackle. Like he's not quick enough to the point or strong enough to the point where we'll shrug him off. But he just breaks a tackle. It's really good to watch.
He's not speedy, but his work inside the stoppage to get out of it is great.
He's so clean too.
Mm-hmm.
And I think if he can keep getting his touches up more, like I know he had 17 on a weekend, if he can get up to a 25, he's going to be a really good player.
Even just 20.
Yeah, just the baseline of 20 I think is a really important step for him. But again, I don't care how he performs, so long as he stays in the team and stays healthy for the rest of the year. That's all that matters with him. Because
100%.
he just needs that consistency.
The potential's been there for years. Like 2020 was probably his best seasons.
Yeah.
And if he can just stay healthy, I'm so keen to see what
he's another one. Just say just play the rest of the year.
Yeah.
Don't worry about getting dropped at this rate.
It's a bit ridiculous to say, but his composure around stoppages just played against him. But it's shades of young Pendlebury.
Wow.
With the way he can just
that's not even
be slow inside a midfield.
People might say Bem's been biased there, but it is a comparison that he's
just
had
player
from
on
early
player.
age.
He's not saying he's as good. But
No.
From an early age, the ability to stop time, basically.
Yeah.
That's what Pendlebury's done best in his prime. So
100%.
if he can get even closer, I'd imagine that.
Yeah, but probably one of the more devastating things to happen on the weekend. Mateus Filippo going to miss probably about pretty much the rest of the season.
They're saying a month at the moment, but I'd put him on ice for the rest
I'd
of the year.
say 6 weeks is when he'd return, and that takes us to around 22. 2 weeks left, no point risking it.
You just say
it's a very disappointing. It's such a nothing year for him, unfortunately.
Yeah.
He was tipped to become our best mid this year, especially how he ended last season. There's a lot of mids like that, even Dayos too, as we'll touch on later. It's just a lot of nothing years for a couple of our players, which is very unfortunate.
Yeah, heaps. But might be a good thing. Some teams might forget about him and he can explode next year.
Hopefully Supercoach forgets about him too. His price is down.
Some players who did play, Steele and McCrae, especially as midfielders. What do we think about that right now, boys?
There's a lot of talk with me and my cousin. I always go to the footy with him, that they just don't work together.
Yep.
He brought up a stat that was ultimately incorrect, that we were 0-7 with both of them in the team.
Yeah, definitely
incorrect. It is incorrect, but I feel like the point of that isn't wrong.
Yeah.
Because I feel like when Steele was there and McCrae was there, we were all right. Then when Steele was out for a couple of weeks, unfortunately, McCrae had his best weeks.
Yeah.
That was when he was really on top.
Was those the Port and Richmond games?
Yes.
Yep.
And then when Steele came back, you sort of saw the Stormont. Then that Freo game that happened where they were both good. And then McCrae comes out and you saw the best out of Steele. And then now that they're both back, we've sort of seen more from McCrae than we have Steele.
Yeah.
What would you do from that?
This is
like, I know it's a hard choice, but
I know we talk a lot about trade and draft stuff and all that, but it's too early to talk about the trade season. I think there will be rumours about Steele. Is it too much to trade your captain? I don't know, but I want to leave that till later. Yep. McCrae, though, you can't drop him. That's the issue.
Yep.
You can't drop McCrae because he has been so good, and he will feature in my votes. He's been really, really good.
Yeah, unfortunately for Steele, I think, if it was one of them.
Yeah. He's probably the one. Would you do it? So, like, we got McCrae for 45. You got to think there's probably that many players in this draft that's already got a club.
Yeah.
Because of all the NGAs and academies. Would you do 35 for Steele?
No.
Yeah.
You'd heavily look at it, I think.
He's a captain of the club.
If I'd go maybe a early 20s pick. I'm not going anywhere in the 30s. No chance. He's
fair.
A captain of our club. That's what we are arguing.
Yeah.
That is fair.
Not going anywhere near the 30s.
That is fair.
Well, where would he even, would he stay in Victoria? Or are you saying a Sydney would look for him? I think a Sydney probably would.
I think could he go to a West Coast or Richmond, one of those developing teams?
I think if anything, it would be contender.
Again, we talked about it with West Coast's thing for Marshall. Could be the same thing with Steele.
Yep.
100%.
If they don't want to.
He's not the one. He just got completely dominated on the weekend.
He will also feature in my votes.
What? Marshall in your votes?
Yeah, just in the other votes.
Oh, yes, of course, your new votes.
Yes.
Here's a hypothetical. There's a Oliver Florence rumour going around this week.
Yeah.
a trade centered around a Steele to Florence, a couple pick changes, but what's your thoughts on that?
Yeah, so Florence, someone we've been linked to in the past.
Yes.
So when I did see that article from Jay Clark, I'm like,
Here we go.
yeah, we're one of the teams that's going to be interested in him.
Of course.
So I heard like a Carlton Harry McCae one going around.
Yep.
Bullshit. That's
I
not going to
I don't
happen.
think
Yeah.
Florence trade value is that good, especially when he's on the outer at Sydney.
Yeah,
at the
well, he's not
moment.
getting a game there, so
Yeah.
what do
So look,
you clearly don't rate him. Why should we?
he's someone I would probably look at.
The thing is, again, if we're trading away Steele for him, I'd just rather sign Warple. I think
Yeah.
Warple's a better
Yeah.
player. They'd
So-
be similar contracts.
They're the same age.
Just
like-
say
Florence
Florence-
he's an outside runner.
He's
That's
an
what we
outside
got.
runner, but he hasn't improved his game in the last 4 years.
True.
So when you're thinking about it, the time where he should be improving, he hasn't.
What is his age grab?
Like, I just don't think he is good enough to the point where
26. That's right.
we'd
what
be
we
getting
want.
him. So it's what we want, but at the same time, I just don't think it's necessary. Like, Boxall's going to be better than him.
Yeah.
Garcia's, he'd probably want some midfield time if he leaves.
And that's
It's not gonna
the
get
thing.
anything.
So after the game, they were already talking about could we see Jack Steele get dropped to open up a spot for Hugo Garcia
Mhm.
in the mids.
No
Bringing in a player like that.
No
is
offense to
gonna do it.
Steele, but I know like there's a whole emotional side part of it, but it's a no fucking brainer at the moment.
Yeah. Or
He's-
just a role change. Can we see him
Garcia
go
is
forward?
He's too good for this VFL team. So why wouldn't he? Like,
Yeah.
and then we play him as a sub, or we play him as a fourth midfielder, and he gets 15 touches, and we drop him again. It's just a cycle that's going to keep going. You got to start playing him as a second or third midfielder to see what he can actually do.
Yeah. And at the start of the year, he was sort of doing that, and he was playing really good.
Yep.
And now it's fallen away. Could we see Steele? I know against Geelong in 22, we saw him go forward when he injured his
Or
shoulder.
even like a 2021, I remember he went forward a lot.
Yeah.
Yeah,
You know, that's his best career year. And he kicked a lot of goals.
Yeah, 2020 we
see-
isolated him in the goal square as well.
And
Like,
it works.
Yeah, 100% works.
I
But
think that's something we would see a lot this week.
agree.
I'd be shocked if Ross keeps playing in the same midfield time he's been
Yeah.
playing, as he's
Especially-
just clearly not doing
Especially
anything.
given Jay Clark, like if you any Saints news that comes from Jay Clark, pretty much write it down as true.
Yep.
He's Ross Lyon's mouthpiece, pretty much. He was even saying stuff about Jack Steele, and I'm like, we're definitely seeing something happen
Smoked
this
us
week.
fire, I think.
I
Yeah.
don't think it's to the point where he gets dropped, but a role change wouldn't be
Yeah,
out of the question.
100%.
I would love to see him in a role change too.
Mhm.
I would love to see him
Yeah.
kicking goals and
Yeah.
lining up the
Yeah.
forwards a bit, because there's not much going on in that forward line at the moment.
100%.
Something I was really not frustrated with, but I found confusing was the fact that we subbed out Isaac Keeler
Yep,
to
same.
bring in Toby. I
Yeah.
thought he had more touches than a couple other forwards that very easily could have been taken out. He had some really smart plays. Like, he allowed Owens and Sharman to stay forward as he played the second ruck. And, like, he looked really clean.
We also just
Yeah.
lose that forward structure.
100%.
Another player could have gone out
That
very easily.
like I know Tyree went back for the last 5 minutes, if that.
Yeah.
It's not doing anything. Like that's when the game was
Yeah,
over.
and it's just another Sharman. It's not like he's big enough to be a Keeler type.
Well, as soon as he got subbed out, me and Will were thinking, "Oh, Tyree's going forward,
Yeah.
surely."
Yeah.
and
yeah,
they
just-
eventually did, but
I would have almost subbed out Sharman and then moved Taru forward.
I would have
and then
subbed
straight
out.
away.
I would have probably subbed out Jack Higgins at that stage.
Yeah,
Like,
Did nothing.
that's
Yeah,
fair.
but he's one of those players that just lights up. Like obviously he did in that game,
yeah.
but he could kick bang bang.
he can, but
Same as
it's-
the Butler.
if
Butler.
not Butler, you sub out
Yeah.
you sub out Burns, you sub out Hall,
I
you
think
sub out
I think Burns would have been the one I would have
Yeah.
picked.
Well,
personally.
yeah, he wasn't even in the game
Burns,
until about
Burns,
a minute
Ferralia
before the
can
bounce.
play the same role too. I'd rather probably Toby playing as we've been
Yeah.
for weeks
Mhm.
now. But
100%. But I think it is time for the player of the week.
Yep.
So as voted by the fans, it was Nasiah, Wanganeen, Millera, and Cooper. Why don't you give us your votes first?
yeah, well, obviously, Nas is he had 35. He's got his own ball, brings to the games these days. My one vote was Wood. Kicked a few goals, played well. Not as confident as I wanted in the forward line, but he played really well. He's at wing
Yeah.
and going up forward. He offered us something.
Yeah.
Kicked a lot through him.
Mm-hmm.
I think I've given my 2 to Wilkie because it's just the same as every week, isn't it? Now
he's
it's
just there.
he's
Does
carrying
his
that
job.
back line at the moment. I know Caminiti and obviously Tyroo will get and develop, but
They're both played under 20 games as key defenders.
it's a long game. It's a long road for Wilkie, but I think he'll eventually pay it. But and then my third obviously is Nas,
Yep.
as everybody would be. As
What
we said,
about-
35.
Yeah. What about you, Ben? Who are you going with?
One vote, I've gone Hunter Clark.
Yep.
We mentioned him in the goods. I think, really important piece to this midfield at the moment. I've gone 2 votes, Jack McCrae. I thought when we were on top, he was the one extracting it, and he was the one kicking inside 50. There were a couple of kicks that were just roof balls that didn't really go anywhere, but I thought he was really important. And then 3 votes, Naz. Pretty clear.
Yep, I think that's fair. I've switched it up a bit. So for my 1 vote, I thought I'll go with Max Hall. Probably didn't get as much as the ball as I'd like, but whenever he gets it, always impactful. Kick that goal, I think, to even tie it 70-70.
Yeah.
So I think I'll give my 1 vote to him. 2, I've gone Naz. So he just gets a lot of cheap balls, a lot of kick-ins, a lot of 1-2s. So
don't you ever disrespect Naz?
I love him, but I just thought Mason Wood. Just thought Mason Wood was best on ground this week. Had his 3 goals, had his 15 touches.
Can't have Wood there.
Just Mr. Consistent for me.
I just think that set shot that he had directly in front, the one that was 40 out that he chose to snap, that completely floated.
He was looking at different options straight away.
Yeah.
I was like,
how
not confident can you be if you're doing that?
Fair. Now it's time for a new segment. We've got Bem's first segment on the pod.
Go on, introduce it.
We've had Will's trade and draft recap for a lot of the year. We've had Cooper's changes recently brought in, and you want to introduce this? Go ahead.
Wait, what are you doing? Are you doing yours or mine?
Mine.
Oh, yeah, go on.
What was yours? What?
Mine's Cooper's niche connections, but I'll be a bit later.
Niche connections. Okay.
I'll be a bit later.
We have Bem's Sinner of the Week.
Wow.
And
it's the opposite votes.
Unfortunately, it is the opposite of the Saner of the Week. And we're starting off strong. 1 vote, Ross Lyon. Set the game up, however, he did sub out Isaac Keeler, who I thought very easily could have broken the game open had we have wanted to contend late. Bit of a niche pick, but no one else.
We were pressing that first 10 minutes too in that 4th. So
yeah,
we'd love to see what he could do. But
2 votes, Mitch Owens and his goal kicking.
I said this to Will, he should be averaging 4 goals a game at this point.
He could.
He's having 6 shots a goal a game.
Everyone loves Mitch. Has he not practiced his goal kicking?
I know.
For 12 months.
I don't understand.
Where's Matthew Lloyd?
This has been
He looked good for the first 4 weeks, and then it just
it's been an
same
issue
as last year.
4 months, 12 months. Like, how is it still going?
It's been an issue for more than 12 months. It's been an issue since he got drafted.
Fair.
Like, the way he drops the ball, it's not good enough. Like, he just holds it 2 hands and then lets go of the ball, basically.
Is he a forward?
I'd love to see him swing into the midfield.
I know. We've been on this train for ages, but
this is a North predicament now. We've got so many midfielders in this side.
But none of them are North Melbourne caliber.
No, but like, you know how North have so much mids? That is like starting to become our problem, because we got like Dowd that probably comes back into this team when he's healthy enough to play a full game.
Hunter Clark has to play as a half-forward midfielder.
Yeah, it's because, no offense to a couple of players, but a couple of list
cloggers. Time to decide on some senior talent, I reckon.
Yes, and speaking of senior talent, 3 votes. Just want to say something. In the first quarter, this player had -1 Supercoach, and his opponent
did his opponent have?
73 or 74. 73.
Jeez.
Ridiculous gap, and it is Rowan Marshall.
Damn.
He just allowed Darcy Cameron to do whatever he pleased. And I thought it genuinely lost us the game. He was really poor all night long. He was going back to the goal square, and it was pretty clear his direct opponent was never going to do that. We know he likes to sit back and intercept market. So when he saw he had no direct opponent, he just sat 20 metres inside the forward 50, and he got a cheap kick every single time it was there.
I reckon he had about 5 scoring shots. And to be fair, like, Marshall probably got off him a bit as well, but...
Especially that last quarter, and like even halfway through the third.
Yeah, it was a terrible look for Marshall.
That was one of his worst games, I think.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
From an opposition ruckman dominating him like that.
Like at the club, I reckon.
There's times where it's sort of like being a neutral, or the opponents had a really good ruck game. This week, he was really poor. And I haven't seen it like that for a while.
He's kicking at goal as well. He's usually really good at that. Mm-hmm. But I think that's it for your segment, the first edition of
Bem's
Sinner of the Week.
Is it back next week? We'll never know.
Yes, it will be.
Is it only a thing when we lose? Though, is this going to be?
No, it's an every week thing.
Okay.
It's an every week thing.
Is it other opponents going to be part of it?
If they have to get suspended for an action they did, yes.
What if, like...
That is fair.
To be fair, the one vote could very easily be the tribunal for giving Marcus Windhager a $1,500 fine.
Yeah,
easily.
I'm glad we're challenging that, by the way. It shows that
very
we're
much so.
just tired of that shit.
Hope the club pays a little bit of that. But
if you want to hear more about that, also go check out the interview with Carl Delaney. Did mention that.
Exactly. But
On Thursday.
as for injuries, so confirmed by the club as of Monday, King's out for the year.
Yep.
No surprise.
I think that's fair. I thought the wording in the announcement was a bit of a worry. He's going to be off legs for several months.
Off legs, so like not walking.
Well,
it must be a thing to just completely renew it.
That you saw him before the game walking, so I'd hope not.
Yeah, shout out Max King, Victoria Park Station.
Did he look like he was walking with a limp?
No. I was just shocked how tall he was.
And Filippo, we touched on earlier, he'll be out till mid-July.
Yeah, plantaris issue.
So we're putting him on ice, as we stated before.
So, yeah. Those two should be on ice.
Both come back round one. Hopefully we have Geelong at Marvel round one. That'll be fun.
Yeah.
Start off with a win.
It's usually how we do it. But
we're not losing against them. Don't look at me like that.
As for the VFL recap, so a goal after the siren from Charlie West.
About the third or fourth time
Typical
this
year. Sandy.
Yep. Yes, it is time to get rid of Sandy.
That would be good.
Time for a standalone team.
After you got here, Hugo Garcia took to Pierce, as we said before. Yep. He's easily better than it. He's not a VFL player.
27, 14 clearances.
14 clearances is ridiculous.
Well, it was probably, I'm guessing, 12 tackles we would or something.
Yeah, like absolutely just went crazy.
He's so good. I don't understand.
And
we need to put
this
him in
isn't against like a lower level VFL team. This is against the Collingwood VFL team.
Yes.
So like he's doing it against the really good players.
Tom Mitchell is in that midfield, a former Brownlow medalist.
Yeah.
Harry Demeter is now playing in that midfield.
Yeah,
he was a first round pick.
Yeah. Yep.
So you got those two quite good players, and he's taking a piss out of them.
Yeah. Another player who probably took the piss a little bit, Zach Jones. He'll definitely be Sandy's captain next year, I reckon, the way he plays.
Well, I saw this on Twitter, so I mentioned to you guys. I forget who posted it. Somebody posted on Twitter saying that we should offer him a role next year in the Sandy VFL team.
100%. Him and Webster as the inaugural captains.
I hope Webster gets another
contract. Crazy.
Hugh Boxall, he played pretty good as well.
Yeah.
He had about 9
He's also
touches.
one that I would say is too good for the VFL at the moment.
Yeah.
He's also probably one that needs to stay there.
Yeah, that's what I was about to say. He needs to stay there for a bit more. Do a little VFL, apprenticeship. That's the word.
Yeah, that's completely fair. And Angus Hasty, he is just a pure footballer.
Yep.
Angus Hasty. He needs to come in immediately.
Yep.
Had his goal, 14 touches.
I don't understand what they don't see in Hasty, but they do in Burns. It's my only concern. Like, surely he's a halfback winger. Hasty's better ball user. Probably a bit quicker.
Younger. That's the key thing.
Yeah.
Don't mention anything else. Younger.
He can probably be a bit more versatile because he can play as a small defender as well if he needs to. Like, even Webster.
Did Ryan Burns play in that 2023 final?
Yes, I believe so.
Yeah,
I don't think he missed a game in the last 2 years.
I don't know how he played.
Don't quote me on that, but I don't believe he missed a game in the last 2 years.
No, he did not play in that Elim final. He was dropped for it. I'm guessing. Played round 2021, then came back around round 24 against Brisbane, where Jax Hayes also played, and then obviously
he's definitely missed a game. By the way, Ben.
Yeah.
Last year he played until round 8, and then didn't play again until round 17.
Had 4 touches. You think win against North?
It felt like it was undroppable, but I was wrong.
Looks undroppable.
Well, he's played every game this year, hasn't he?
No.
2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Yep. Yes.
Yep. All right.
That's a.
Don't think he'll be playing.
That's a worry.
But
no offense to Ryan Burns, but
yeah,
I'd rather play the kids.
Yeah, and
as we say every week.
Your boy Lance Collard.
Tell us all about it.
He's playing higher up the ground. What do you have? About 14 and a goal.
Yeah,
that's what we want. That's what we want to see from him. I'd love to see that in the AFL eventually. Yeah. But I think a couple more weeks of that, playing more up the ground, because he's not getting we're playing him one out in the goal square half the time.
Yeah.
He's not getting near it. And this Sandy team has got so much issues at the moment that it's our VFL players carrying when a lot of other teams like a Collingwood or a Footscray have other players helping out.
Yeah. So, and most importantly, he just looked actually interested in the game.
Yep.
That's something you don't see from Lance sometimes, and I think that was important.
And now this is the most important thing.
Paddy Dow.
I haven't said much about him this year, but I was huge on him last year, especially when he first started playing. I think he's got so much potential. It's another year wasted though for a player, but I would love to see him maybe come and play the last 4 games this year.
Yeah.
As an inside
100%.
mid. And it's just another conversation that we're going to have though with the senior players. I'd rather play Dale over.
And last year he probably played about 2 or 3 VFL games at the start and then came straight in.
Yeah, and he played really well, especially in that last game against Carlton. I think he played really well. I think 20 and a very good goal too.
Yes. And he gets a lot of clearances when he plays with us as well. So I think the changes will be pretty interesting.
9 and a goal, but I'm pretty sure he was playing predominantly forward.
Yeah.
This week, I think just giving him some more match fitness, and then I think he'll transition to a more mid, with hopefully Garcia in the AFL this week.
Hopefully, but that is something we can talk about now in Cooper's changes.
We're back. Cooper's changes back in business.
Back.
I want to start with you, Will, because yours is first on my list here.
Yep. So this week, I like what we're doing, where we're doing 2 or 3 young players in and getting some senior players out. We saw it last year, last week.
Yep.
But I'll bring in Hasty and Garcia.
Yep.
Thought they both earn it at VFL.
Yep.
And probably I'll take out Webster.
Yep.
Probably a bit of a weird one to take out.
He didn't play horrible.
I think Taru can slot in there. Webster's still important to this team, I reckon, but even if it's just managed and comes back in next week.
This is something we'll talk about in a preview, but I'm keen to see Taru on an open ground, like a very wide open ground.
It will be very nice. And, of course, I've had to drop Ryan Burns. A weekly tradition now. It happened last week, but I think it'll happen again.
Jesus. Look, no disrespect to Ryan Burns, but I think we all agree there.
What about you, Bem? Who are you dropping this week?
I'm going very simple changes. I don't think with the performance we had, anything outrageous is going to happen. I'm going Liam Henry in to replace what Philippou was meant to do, that mid-half forward role.
Yep.
And then Ryan Burns comes out as the one who had to replace Philippou. Yep. So very minimal changes this week.
Okay.
I think that's fair. What about you, Cooper?
So I've gone Hugo Garcia in.
Yeah.
I think obviously I've said it all podcast. He's just dominating the VFL. I'd rather him in. And out for him, I've gone Jack Steele.
Ooh.
Look.
Big Cole Cooper.
Not dropped. It won't say dropped, hopefully. I think it will manage him. Hopefully manage him for the trip over to Perth.
Yeah.
Get him right. He'll probably come straight back in against the Hawks the week after, but
come in bash battle.
Yeah. I'm keen for that preview.
Win for the year.
But we win that. I think, look, I'd rather play Garcia in that mid-2 or mid-3 role, as I've said, and I think Steele's the only one that would probably come out for it.
Mm-hmm.
And then I'm debuting Max Heath this week, I believe.
See, you continue, but I've got something to say about it.
Yeah.
Continue.
I would like to do a 2 rucks against 2 rocks. I'm saying Darcy will probably come in after being managed against Essendon. Obviously, Essendon only had a debutant playing, and Jackson took the piss out of him. And as everybody else I've dropped Burns. Reason I haven't brought in Henry, I know you said he wants to replace that Philippou role. I would love to see Max Hall replace that Philippou role and play a little bit of Max Hall in the mid.
I think if he was because he played on the weekend, I think we would have already tried that, and we didn't. So
okay, fair enough. Well, that's my changes. What's your things on?
We saw before the game that a lot of stuff was talking about Marshall potentially having continuous injuries throughout the year, and that is playing through them, right?
Yes.
Given we saw how poor he was, does that make an indication that maybe they want to start playing Max Heath?
Maybe. It is interesting.
I've mentioned a Will on the weekend. Max Heath and Ryan Burns both didn't play VFL.
They were the 2 carryover emergencies.
So we normally only have the 1, I believe.
Yeah.
So it shows a lot of who's healthy and who's not at the moment.
Mm-hmm. Well, Andrew List isn't too bad, aside from like season enders.
Got 4 players on it.
And it also shows... what's it called? It also shows he's ahead of Boyd. Unfortunately, Boyd, he played the 1 game.
Played just 1 game and that was it.
Unfortunately, I don't think he'll be offered a contract next year. Probably go back down to Norwood Redlegs.
Yeah, it wouldn't surprise me
He
there.
can go play his best football, which is better for everybody, I believe.
Yeah. But I think it's time for Will's trade and draft recap.
Yeah, here you go. Your segment.
One of the best segments on here.
One of the segments on here, yes.
Starting off strong. Isaac Keeler, 1-year deal.
Yes.
More than likely. So
now this is huge for the NAS thing too. Yep. They're both South Australian.
That is huge for the NAS thing. They are great mates, so that'll be interesting to see if he signs on. You'll be able to get a bit of an insight on that come Thursday.
Yes.
We've got, some Tom de Koning, of course. Every week, news about Tom comes out.
If Carlton lose, he's coming to us. If Carlton win and we
is.
lose, he's staying there. So.
Yeah. So, if I was Tom, I'd look at, St Kilda might have lost on the weekend. But to be fair, it was to Collingwood.
We didn't lose to North Melbourne.
We did not lose to North Melbourne.
I'd look at Carlton and Kilda right now and go, who has a better ceiling? Because is this Carlton ceiling now? Because I don't see this team getting much better. Like, you bring in Jagger Smith as another mid.
Yeah.
You've got... Look at the team they have, as we've said most weeks.
In order to get better, they need to trade out people rather than getting in people.
They're going to have a lot of hard couple of years of a little adjustment period.
I think it's fair to say, it's not a Carlton podcast, but that premiership window that opened up
Blues Nation
in 2022, I think that's done right now. I think that door's shut.
Yep.
Lid's on for them.
Mm-hmm.
Jack Steele is a name. Keeps getting linked. Cal Toomey's
every year though, the last 2 years it's been.
Cal Toomey, the teams come after Steele. We've talked about it a bit, what we trade him for.
Mm-hmm.
So it doesn't surprise me that he's getting linked to other clubs.
Would you guys be happy to see him go, or would you rather keep him?
It just depends what we got offered.
The thing is, I would love to see him in a different role to just see, because as an inside mid right now, I do not want him.
Well, I reckon if we see him
22.
Go forward and do stuff like that, I reckon that's a sign there's teams interested, and we're just trying to do everything we can to find a reason to keep him. If the offers come.
Well, I hope there is. I hope there's a reason we keep him.
Yeah.
I would love to have Steele as part of this next finals
Steele.
premiership team or grand final contending team in 4 or 5 years.
Yeah, you'd hope so.
Then him just leave now, and then that's what we had a captain for a couple of years. You don't want
a Robert Harvey scenario where he's gone right before we get good. And then
that's
Rowan
that's
Marshall.
a big what if we just talked about.
Tell me about Rowan, because this one's very interesting. We've talked about it previously.
Yeah.
We've discussed potential trades that could happen. I'm really intrigued by this one.
Yeah, it's just the fact that it keeps getting brought up every week makes me think it's a real chance he's going to go. I still don't believe it, because if you look at what we need on the weekend, it's contested marking and a TDK Marshall forward ruck duo. Helps out a lot with that.
Yes.
But if the right offer's there, if GWS finish 8th on the ladder and offer us pick 10, it's hard to turn that one down, I reckon.
Very difficult. Imagine
which GWS probably would do too.
Yeah. I wouldn't be surprised, because Kieran Briggs, I don't know if he's injured, but he's not getting a game.
Yeah.
He's injured. Yes.
Yeah, he's injured. Madden's looked alright, at least super coach wise.
Yes,
but
I care about.
But it's an interesting watch.
It'd be awesome if we do, let's say, in the theoretical scenario, TDK signs, that leaves us the room to be able to move Marshall on. If we could have pick, let's say, 4 that moves back to pick 8, and pick up 10 that moves back to 16.
That's
sets us up really well.
Shit draft system. That's also touched on in the podcast on Thursday.
But could we then use that pick 16 and Steele to then move up even higher?
That is a good point.
Yes.
Because consolidating is something I'd really look at doing.
Well, let's say Sydney want him. I'm just saying a contending team. I would like a mature. So let's say Taylor Adams done. Probably is.
Yeah.
You bring in Jack Steele instead. On what Taylor Adams, I don't know what the contract is, but you bring him in, replace him. They don't need their first round pick. Do they have it? Yes.
Sydney, yes, they do.
So they have a first round pick.
They have it, but they got to trade it for Max.
Exactly. So they trade out. We give them Steele in 16, and they give us what's it now? Pick 6-ish?
8.
Pick 8.
It's pick 8.
That's a trade I would look forward to.
Realistically, on draft night, we could have pick 4 and pick 8, and I'm pretty happy with that.
Yes, and that's another 2 players coming into this team that we're trying to develop the youth through and build a really good young core.
And you look at last week, we had 5 of our 6 first rounders.
Also,
it should have been 6, but unfortunately,
Lance Collard didn't play.
Also,
that's not what it was. Yes.
Also, very.
It was Filippo, wasn't it?
No, it was
Collard.
Was it?
Oh, no, hold on. The stat came out before Filippo got dropped.
Yeah,
so it was actually 4 of our last 6.
Yeah.
No, Collard was round 2. He was starting round 2.
No. He was end of round 1.
But it was there was that many bids. It was pick 28.
Yeah.
No way, Collard was the first round.
I do want to say, could we potentially go Steele and that pick to potentially then go up to Gold Coast and say
they hate us? No,
no, they're not going to trade with us.
And say Sam Flanders and your first round pick that they got from Port Adelaide come here.
So you'd basically just be trading Steele for Sam Flanders?
Yep.
And then we're trading Port Adelaide's first round pick
He's younger and better.
I don't know. And then we get Bergman, and then, look, our team's stacked. Perfect.
Yeah, just give them their pick back.
And we can keep Nas, because fuck off.
Bro, imagine that. Bergman,
Look, it's
Flanders.
definitely an interesting
So Saints are winning the
conversation.
flag next year.
Yeah,
If our
confirmed.
wish list. Yeah.
Confirmed.
But I think it's time for another new segment.
Here we go.
Cooper's
This is a
Nation
weekly segment that we're only having
This is a
during the
weekly
season.
segment. Sure about that?
Yeah, it's Cooper's niche connections.
All right.
Let's hear it.
We have no idea what's going on.
We've got no clue.
So
I'll be
tell us.
talking about the connections between two clubs as we got this week, Fremantle and St Kilda.
Okay.
I want everybody's thoughts on the players that they are. Okay,
Yeah.
Zach Dawson,
0 out of 10.
0 out of 10.
didn't like him.
No.
Player of the finals 2009,
It's still a 0 out of 10.
don't like him.
We didn't win that flag, so nah,
Brett Peake,
I couldn't tell you.
he was a good player, right?
0 out of 10.
Where did you get this idea from?
Myself, when I was thinking about it with Will, I was talking to him about it.
Because I know a podcast that does this exact same thing.
Do you?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
It's-
Sorry.
Zero
Zero
access
access
footy.
footy. My bad.
Nope, definitely not 0 access. Reese does not know enough about footy to do that.
All right.
All
All
right,
right. Who's
okay.
next? Who's next?
A fan favourite here
Don't
at
tell me
Saints
Blake
Nation.
Acres. Don't
10
tell me
out of
Blake
10.
Acres. Don't
Dylan
tell me Blake
Robertson.
Acres.
Dylan Robertson.
Oh,
10 out of 10.
I love Dylan.
Tell
Love
me why you
Dylan.
love Dylan so much.
Favorite player. His numbers in my pin for my credit card. Straight
Gee.
up.
Yep. Well, that's half
Okay.
of them.
What's the other half?
I'm not going to tell you.
Okay. This is a great segment, by the
I
way.
know, this is going great.
Liam Henry, obviously.
That
Yeah.
is, yeah.
I'd
What's-
give him maybe at 8 so far.
Yeah.
Got the win against us for Collingwood last year, so
This
that's enough.
is a controversial one.
Mm.
Bradley Hill.
Maybe 7. Done some things, hasn't done
Yeah,
others.
yeah. I'll go 8 because it's his jersey.
And now
number.
2 more. We've got a player that's played for 3 clubs now. Any guesses?
Mm-hmm.
I can't think of anyone.
Blake Acres.
Blake Acres.
Pretty obvious.
That should, yeah.
Yeah.
I was screaming
he's
his
probably
name.
about a
Did we
solid-
win that trade? The Brad Hill for Blake Acres trade? Or did they?
I think so.
Freo obviously don't win a
I think
trade.
so,
But yeah.
yeah.
I
And then
don't-
obviously the big dog at St Kilda right now, in Ross Lyon, is
Yes.
obviously
That's a big connection.
Probably-
10 out of 10.
probably will go back to Freo in 4 years for
Hope
some odd
not.
reason.
Hope not.
So that's Cooper's Niche Connections. We'll be back next week with the St Kilda Hawthorn one
That
featuring Josh Battle.
that was great.
Yeah, no, it won't be.
Yes, it will.
Big boy McAvoy, Shane Savage.
That
Yeah,
was
don't
great.
spoil it. It's for next week.
But I think it's time to get on to our round 15 predictions.
That was great. I like that.
You should make it Connect 4. And you just name the 4 players.
Yeah.
Okay, I can, we'll workshop it.
Oh,
alright.
man, this podcast's gone off the grid.
Hey, they can get
Nah.
pumped for Thursday. That's the
Hey,
best
it's,
one.
it's a trial and error. We've already got a really good podcast this week.
Yes.
This one's just floating.
Yes.
Yes.
But definitely time for our round 15 predictions now.
Yeah.
What do you reckon's going to happen here, Ben?
No idea, to be honest. We whacked Fremantle last time we played them.
Yeah, what the... yeah.
7 points at halftime. That
We won by 61 points.
Yeah,
And me and you were
33
thinking...
to 94, I think.
I was sitting with Ben that game. Ben was doing his chance. He was keen.
Gain as. Can't believe we scored 90 points. That's crazy.
We're going to do it
Yeah.
again.
we are
Yeah.
not scoring 90 points.
If we score 60 again, I'll be impressed.
What do we score this week? 74.
70 something.
Look,
What
if
did we
Mitch
score
Owens
the
kicks
last-
straight, that was 90.
True. We could be on here actually.
We're going to
on.
win this game.
All right. What?
2-0 against Freo.
How many points are we going to lose by?
I think Fremantle. I
No.
don't know.
No, go on. Go on. He says Fremantle by 22.
Fremantle by 22.
Actually, I don't. I say Fremantle by 21.
Okay.
Okay, then
Sorry,
sure.
Cooper.
What's your bold prediction?
Bold prediction. Get back to me on that one, actually.
All right.
I'm going to really
What-
think
what?
hard
We're
about
gonna
this one.
Get back to him on
Cooper, what
Thursday,
about
I
you?
guess.
What are you predicting?
Saints win by 5.
Okay.
Look, we dominated them last time. We'll do it again.
True.
Ross knows how to coach against Fremantle. He drafted half their fucking team for him. My big call, Garcia comes in, has 20 and a goal.
That is fair, I reckon.
Thanks.
I hope so. If he gets a midfield role.
I don't like this already. I don't like his little
But,
bold prediction he's going in.
But I guess I'm going to say we lose by 32. I think Freo are the
What
most...
what is your bold prediction? How do we lose by 5 goals? That's the bold prediction.
I'll explain it in a second, all right? But we're going to lose by 5 goals. Look, and Jack Higgins is going to kick 7.
It's just ridiculous.
Yeah, that's the ridiculous
Jack Higgins needs to
prediction.
get in form He's going to kick 7, and we're going to lose by 5.
What are we scoring then? He's kicking 7 or 8 goals.
We are kicking... Well, we're going to score 60.
So he's kicked 7 of our...
So he's going to score 42 out of our 60 points.
Yep.
Jesus, okay.
And then we're still going to somehow lose by 32.
Who kicks the other 2 if we're saying we don't kick straight?
Well, if he's kicking 7, we need 3 more goals.
No, but
2
9
because
goals,
it's
6.
behind.
We don't have 10
true,
straight.
true.
And we know who the 6 behinds are.
6,
Mitch
7.
Owens.
Probably Hugo Garcia
Yep.
and Liam Henry if he plays. All right, what about you, Ben? Can we get back to your bold prediction?
Get back to my bold.
That is horrible. Sorry.
Yeah, you should get fined for that one. I'm sorry.
What if it happens though?
Jackie,
He comes back next
What are
week.
go check right now? What are the odds for Higgins to kick 7?
I don't even think the odds would be.
Yeah,
over.
well-
What are the odds for him to kick 4 then? Because I don't think there'd be any.
What are you
less
doing
than
if he
8.
comes back next week? We lose by 32 and Jack Higgins kicks 7 and he just comes in going,
I'm
Told ya.
gonna come in dressed as Will.
how are you going to do that?
Black.
Really good question. Dye my hair blonde and cut it.
Fair enough.
All right.
Straighten it out.
Straighten it out. Yeah.
Get
That's
some
a
glasses on.
Pretty good one. We're
Let's
paying
see.
$3.82 to win.
It's actually decent.
We'll do that.
The line is Freo 22.5.
I had them by 22.
I like
So
that.
I'll take Freo at the line.
Rep Bozo.
And yeah, the goals market is not open yet. So
Okay.
He's not kicking 7, so I'll tell you that.
Well, I'll
He
get back.
hasn't, what is it, kicked 1 the last 4 weeks, you said?
Yeah,
Ben?
basically. I'll get back to my bold prediction. Liam Henry has 20 and a goal against his former side to propel us to lose by 22.
he's not even going to
Yep.
play.
He's just stolen my prediction.
Better.
He just put his player in instead of mine.
Look, this fell off the rails quick, this podcast.
Yeah, there's no need to talk about the game. We'll just wrap it up there, I
But
think.
yeah, I think that's it. I hope you guys enjoyed this. It wasn't great.
Yeah.
Get
But,
pumped for Thursday.
But
Yeah.
look,
All our effort was put into Thursday.
Thursday is massive.
Yep.
Obviously. Don't know why this BEM guy's laughing. But yeah, Thursday is massive, of course. To be able to get the CEO on in not even the first 6 months of
Within
doing this
3 months, we
Yeah.
got the CEO of a
Episode
club.
12.
We follow.
episode 12, and we've been able to get the CEO on. So
Yeah.
that wouldn't have been possible without you guys. So a big thanks to you. But I think it is time to head off, and we hope to see you guys
Yeah.
Thursday. And
Please come Thursday. I know this was horrible. Please come Thursday.
yeah, please be here Thursday. We promise you it's much better.
Don't be here. Be on YouTube.
Yeah,
They can come in here Thursday if they want.
Yeah.
Sure.
yeah, but
We
give
won't
us
be here, but
give us 5 stars on Spotify,
They're
subscribe,
not giving
like
you
on
5
stars.
YouTube. But we'll see you guys in the next one.